What's up, brothers and sisters? It's your brother G World 7_D. I'm going back to this book, America, the True Old World, the Original Africa, by Amenhotep Chavez El Bey. All right, I'm going to go to page. I'm going to say page, is it 65? Right here. Here you see the images of the original Confederate flag. You see the black land in Chickamauga. All right. The original Confederate flag was created by Negroes. All right? White folks obviously hijacked and stole it, and they turned against us. You notice the difference you see here with this here. So like battle canyons, but this is this is the original Confederate flag, not that fake ass one you see them crackers running around with. All right, them white folks, racist white folks who are doing that, all right, who run around lying and being bigots. All right, but this is the original Confederate flag, just like that song Dixie, which was about some Negroes, man. And here, the X symbol was used throughout here in America, and you see this. See the X, and this is an Olmec person. Olmec priest. Notice he's sitting in his folded leg position, like a yogic position. You see that in ancient Egypt too, with his hands on his leg, or say the thigh, near the kneecaps, and he's kind of bending over. You see the two X's right there, just like in that flag I just showed you with the X. That X symbol was done by people for thousands of years. I'm gonna go further, talk about our ancient history. All right, obviously those are Mayans. All right, but our history. Mochican. I'm gonna go further in our history because some of these niggas still preach that mess that we came in the slave ship. That's a lie. But here we go. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna read this right here. Pyramid. All right. Pyramids in America. Now this is underwater. A lot of these pyramids, you may find many different monumental structures that are now buried underwater because the sea level has risen. Due to the fact that the end of the ice age, as the large ice sheets has melted, it affected different parts of the world. So stuff that was once above water, above sea level, which is now buried under sea level due to the fact of all them ice sheets melting. But here we go. The three pyramids found off the coast of Cuba. For the article entitled Sunken Pyramids Discovered Off the Coast of Cuba Might Be the City of Atlantis. The remains of what may be a 6,000-year-old city immersed in deep waters off the west coast of Cuba was discovered by Canadian and Cuban researchers. Offshore engineer Paulina Zelinsky and her husband, Paul Weinzweig, and her son, Ernesto Tapanes, used sophisticated sonar and videotape devices to find some kind of megaliths you'll find on Stonehenge or Easter Island. When Weinzweig said some structures within the complex may be as long as 400 meters wide and as high as 40 meters. He said, some are sitting on top of each other. They show very distinct shapes and symmetrical designs of non-natural kind. We've shown them to scientists in Cuba, the U.S., and elsewhere, and nobody has suggested that they are natural. It is figure 345 shows you three pyramids off the coast of Cuba. This makes a total of 7 type pyramid alignments that align with the constellation of Orion. Osiris, the mighty hunter. This is evidence of not only an Egyptian civilization, but an advanced civilization that was global. Now you see this now. These are pyramidal structures, as well as maybe some ancient boat docking ports where they used to, when they were shipping goods, they might have docked there. Because a lot of these large structures were built by some form of body of water. And that was able to travel back and forth. And they carved into natural geological rock using by smelting iron, using the form of iron, as well as having a high level ancient form of physics and chemistry to build and design these great civilizations. And that's what these brothers and sisters did. All right. And anyone to tell you anything else, they're lying to you. So our people have always been here in Americas, or we always travel throughout the world. And we've always basically built where we went. This is supposed to be the image here at Grand Canyon. I said before, they carved into rock. This is a human face over and around the Grand Canyon. And you can see when you look at a lot of this stuff, you have natural geological rock, which has been carved into. All right. Let me go back. I've mentioned that so many times in my other video where I talked about rock being carved into. You know, this is not the Grand Canyon. This is somewhere else. But see, look, I said all around the world, the technology to carve and to cut into large segment of rock was done all over the world. You see a spink image here. This is done all over the world. So this tells you that people travel all over the globe to build civilization. See the Grand Canyon, pyramid structure, Sphinx-like structure. Here's Egypt. The American civilizations and the building structure here was older than the one in Africa, as you can tell by the deterioration of it, and it has been unkept for so long. And you see many faces that are being carved up and torn off and destroyed. Oh, I also need to show you this image. I showed you this before. This is the Moors in Europe. A tapestry showing the wild cave white people attacking the Moors with they be holding their castle. If I get closer, you can see, I believe that's the queen up there. Queen and king. And these are people protecting. Look at them wearing like their headband over their head. I've shown this picture before. Show you many of them pictures before. How so-called blacks are aboriginal around the world. So that's what you have to understand. But my main emphasis in this video is just talking about how people travel around the world and how a lot of these symbols around the world are very similar. It was going from west to east and then east to west. It was always a constant travel. A constant travel amongst the so-called Negro people. These black populations travel and they took their ideas globally. And then they used the animals of that region to reflect in their artistry, in their architecture. They'll have the animals up in their architecture that represent the regions that they were in. And this is something that when people try to deny this and say there's no exploration going back and forth, they're lying to you. Because it's so obvious, man. These three windows, like, this can be like when the sun would shine, it would shine through this, at its noon point, shine through this door, causing light to come through this door. But our brothers and sisters have been building civilization for the longest and going around the world globally. But unfortunately, when you listen to Pan-Africans, you just stuck here as a slave in America, which doesn't make no sense. I'm going to do another video dealing with this issue, talking about this a little bit more. But I want to show you that how there was pyramids here in America, and they weren't just in so-called Africa. And the fact is that brothers and sisters were carving up into natural geological rock structures globally. So they had that technology, and it was going around the world building and cutting the carver into rock, building civilization around the world. So when you hear these Negroes saying that you just came in the slave ship, that's the biggest lie that you've been told. But unfortunately, many of our people have been educated by white folks, and they sit there and boast and brag about how much education and how much they have learned through their white so-called educational structure system. But basically, they're just showing how ignorant they are. They continue to do this. They do this constantly. Now, here's Cambodia. I want to find this picture too. Look at this. They cut and carved into this form of stone. Now, look at this. Obviously, that face up there is a damn Negro, man. Look at it, man. This is obvious a damn Negro, man. Look at this. This is obvious a damn Negro. It's not even funny. And this is some type of hat, or maybe a fez is on his head. I don't know. But look at this. This is so funny. This is obvious a damn Negro. And this hole may be like a sun when it's at a certain point will shine through. But look at it. That's obviously the head of a black man, man. Look at that. And like I said, they would travel around the world, cutting and carving to rock. They had an ancient form of smelting iron where they had a high level of physics, high level of mathematics, physics, and chemistry. All right. This is ancient Cambodia too. When I look at that, that looks closely like what you call a Washington, near like the Washington Monument. But brothers and sisters were building structure all over the world, and they were traveling all over the world. So when you, like I said, y'all got to give up with this mess saying you just came over here in a slave ship. That doesn't make any sense. Because there's too much information out here showing you what brothers and sisters have built in the ancient world. So that's my little quick video dealing with ancient Americas. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to use this book again because there's something else I want to talk about, several other things from this book. It's a great book. America is the True Old World, the Original Africa, Amenhotep, Chavis, El Bey. Peace and love, brothers and sisters. Your brother G World 7_D.